This video is about the single mom went to the rooftop bar, and a rich stranger offered to carry her bag. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. Part 1. The Rooftop Bar. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the city, and the rhythm of life below thrummed like a heartbeat. Lila stood in front of the entrance to the rooftop bar, her heart racing. She adjusted the strap of her heavy bag, shifting the weight on her shoulder, and took a deep breath. The scent of summer lingered in the air, mixed with the distant laughter of people as they enjoyed their evening. Tonight was supposed to be a night for her. It had been ages since she had gone out, since before her daughter, Mia, had come into the world. Lila often felt like an echo of her former self, but the invitation from her old friend Sarah had felt like a lifeline. Pushing through the heavy glass door, she was immediately enveloped in a world of soft lights and smooth jazz. The vibrant energy of the bar contrasted sharply with the quiet loneliness she had felt at home. As she scanned the crowd, it was like stepping into a different universe, one filled with laughter and conversations that felt foreign yet alluring. Lala's eyes landed on Sarah, seated at a table overlooking the city's skyline, her face bright with enthusiasm. Sarah waved, and Lila's heart began to warm. She was grateful for her friend, a reminder of the life she had before motherhood, before responsibilities had weighed her down. "Lila, you made it," Sarah exclaimed, standing to envelop her in a hug. Lila couldn't help but smile. "You look amazing." "Thanks. I almost didn't come," Lila admitted, sliding into the seat opposite her friend. "I had a million excuses." "Excuses don't count tonight. We're celebrating you taking some time for yourself," Sarah said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Now, let's order some drinks." As the waiter approached, Lila felt a flutter of nerves. She hadn't had a drink in months. Her life had revolved around the routines of motherhood, where a glass of wine was a rare luxury rather than a default option. "Just a glass of white wine for me," she decided, her voice feeling steadier than she had expected. Lila watched as Sarah ordered a cocktail, her confidence shining through. It was infectious. "Now, tell me everything. How's Mia? How's life?" Sarah leaned in, her curiosity evident. Lila found herself talking easily, her worries melting away with each word. "Mia's good. She's growing so fast, but sometimes I feel like I'm losing myself in all of this." Her hand instinctively placed on her bag, a habit she had developed to ground herself. Sarah nodded, her expression serious. "You need balance, Lila. You can't be just a mom. You need to remember who you are too." Lila nodded, feeling the weight of her friend's words. Just as she was about to respond, her gaze flickered to the entrance. A man stepped in, his presence commanding the attention of the room. Tall and elegantly dressed in a tailored suit, he exuded an air of confidence that seemed almost palpable. "Wow," Sarah whispered, her eyes following his movement as he made his way to the bar. "Who is that?" Lila felt a strange mix of curiosity and apprehension. "No idea. He looks intimidating." The man ordered a drink, and Lila couldn't help but notice the way he engaged with the bartender, his smile genuine yet enigmatic. There was something magnetic about him, a spark that drew her attention despite her better judgment. "Come on, you can't tell me you're not a little intrigued," Sarah nudged her playfully. "I'm not looking for anything," Lila replied, her heart racing as she felt the heat in her cheeks. "I just want to enjoy this night." "Exactly. Enjoy it. And if that means talking to a mysterious stranger, so be it," Sarah countered. Just then the man turned, catching Lila's gaze. For a brief moment, their eyes locked, and it felt like the air around them shifted. Her breath caught in her throat. Oh, Sarah said teasingly, her voice low. "I think he's going to come over." Lila's mind raced. Panic set in as self-doubt washed over her. What would she possibly say? She was a single mother, and he looked like he belonged to a world far removed from hers. As if sensing her turmoil, the man approached their table, a charming smile gracing his features. "Excuse me," he began, his voice deep and smooth. "I couldn't help but notice you from across the bar." Lila's heart raced and she felt her cheeks flush again. "Oh, hi," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm Alex," he introduced himself, extending a hand. Lila hesitated before shaking it, feeling the warmth of his grasp seep into her fingers, sending shivers down her spine. "Lila," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Nice to meet you, Lila. I hope you don't mind me interrupting your evening, but I wanted to offer to carry that heavy bag for you." "It looks like it's seen better days," he said, his gaze flicking to the bag slung over her shoulder. Lila laughed nervously. "It's not just the bag. It carries my whole life in it." "Even better?" He grinned, an infectious smile that made her heart flutter. "I'd be honored to carry it, or at least lighten your load for a moment. After all, it's not every day I get to help a beautiful woman." Her stomach twisted at the compliment, a mixture of flattery and disbelief. Lila had spent years focused on her daughter, and now this stranger was looking at her as if she were more than just a mother. Okay, she stammered, handing him the strap of her bag. "Thank you." As he took it, their fingers brushed, and Lila felt an unexpected spark, a connection that sent her heart racing. She quickly glanced at Sarah, who wore a mischievous smile, clearly enjoying the unfolding scene. "Are you from around here?" Alex asked, settling into the empty seat next to her while effortlessly shifting the bag to the floor. "Sort of," Lila replied, her nerves slowly dissipating. "I live here, but my life is mostly about my daughter these days." "Sounds rewarding," he replied, leaning back slightly, his gaze never leaving her. "But I bet there's more to you than just being a mom." Lila felt a rush of excitement and fear. "There used to be," she admitted, a hint of vulnerability creeping into her voice. "I used to love going out, meeting new people. But that feels like a lifetime ago." "Well, tonight is a start," he said, his tone encouraging. "Let's make it memorable." Before she could respond, Sarah piped up, her voice teasing. "Lila was just telling me she almost didn't come tonight." Lila shot her a look, part disbelief and part amusement. "Thanks for sharing," she said dryly, trying to mask her embarrassment. "Why would you almost miss out on a night like this?" Alex asked, genuinely puzzled. I guess I just forgot how to be me," Lila replied, her voice dropping slightly. Her heart raced at the vulnerability she was showing in front of this stranger. "Then let me remind you," Alex said softly, his gaze steady and sincere. Lila felt a flicker of hope mixed with trepidation. Could she allow herself to feel alive again, if only for a night? The chemistry buzzed in the air between them, and for the first time in a long while, Lila felt a spark of something that had long been dormant. "Okay," she said, her voice steady. "Let's make tonight memorable." ###, Part 2. The Connection. The city sprawled beneath them, a sea of twinkling lights and distant laughter. Lila took a sip of her wine, the crisp flavor tangy and refreshing. She felt a warmth spreading through her, aided by the comforting buzz of the bar and the palpable chemistry with Alex. "So, Lila, tell me about yourself," Alex prompted, leaning slightly closer, his eyes sparkling with genuine interest. The way he focused on her made her feel like the only person in the room. "Well, I was an art teacher before motherhood," she began, a hint of nostalgia softening her voice. "I loved creating and inspiring others to see the beauty in everyday life." "An artist at heart," he mused, glancing at her as if he were truly seeing her. "What brought you to teaching?" Lila hesitated, the weight of her past settling heavily on her shoulders. "I always loved helping people find their voice or their passion. It felt rewarding," she said, her fingers fidgeting with the stem of her glass. "But then, life happened." "Life has a way of doing that," he replied, his tone sympathetic. "What else do you love?" "I used to love hiking and exploring nature. Just getting lost in the woods made me feel alive, she admitted, her eyes momentarily glazing over with fond memories of long trails and sun-dappled afternoons. Maybe we can explore together sometime, he suggested, his voice low and teasing. I can carry your bag, of course. Lila chuckled, her heart fluttering at the invitation. That sounds nice, but I'm not sure I'm ready for a hiking trip with someone I just met. What if I'm a terrible hiking partner? There's only one way to find out, he challenged, his smile infectious. And I promise I'm in excellent company. Plus, I know the best trails. Before Lila could respond, Sarah chimed in, her voice slightly exaggerated. Just think, Lila, you could be off on a romantic adventure with a handsome stranger. It's the plot of a movie. Lila shot her a playful glare, but her heart raced as Alex leaned closer, the teasing light in his eyes igniting something deep within her. What do you think? Would it be a good plot twist? Her heart thudded, and laughter bubbled up. I'm not sure a single mom's life needs more twists, she replied, half joking. Alex's expression softened. But what if those twists lead to something beautiful? Lila caught her breath, aware of the weight behind his words. There was something different about him, a sincerity that made her want to lean in closer. I guess that's a possibility, she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. Sarah, oblivious to the tension building between them, continued to interject with light-hearted comments, her excitement spilling over. You two are going to give me hope. Just think about it, a beautiful evening followed by a stunning hike. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Lila interrupted, her cheeks flushing. I came here to enjoy tonight, and right now, I'm enjoying this. Good. That's the spirit, Alex said, his gaze unwavering. So what's stopping you from enjoying more nights like this? What would you want from life if you could have it all? Lila felt her heart constrict. I don't know. I have Mia to think about. Everything revolves around her. Of course, she comes first, Alex said softly, the tone of his voice gentle. But you deserve joy too. You deserve to feel alive. I know, Lila said, her voice thickening with emotion. But it's scary to think about stepping outside my comfort zone. What if I'm not the person I used to be? You might be surprised, he replied, his expression earnest. Sometimes what we think is lost can be found in the most unexpected places. Just then, a group of exuberant friends entered the bar, drawing attention with their boisterous laughter. Lila's moment of vulnerability felt abruptly disrupted, and she pulled back slightly, her mind swirling. How about we grab another drink? Sarah suggested, oblivious to the shift in energy. I'd love to, Alex said, standing up seamlessly. What do you want, Lila? Just a refill on the wine, please, she replied, her smile returning as she watched him walk to the bar. The way he carried himself with confidence yet grace made her heart skip. Are you going to flirt with him? Sarah teased, her eyes glinting with mischief. I can see the way you look at him. Just go for it. It's not like that, Lila protested, though her cheeks flushed. I'm just enjoying the moment. Sure, that's what they all say right before they get swept off their feet, Sarah said, winking. Lila rolled her eyes playfully, but deep down she felt the flutter of excitement surging within her. She hadn't felt this way in years, and it terrified her. What if she got swept away? What if Alex wasn't just another charming stranger, but someone who could change everything? When Alex returned with their drinks, he set the glasses down gently. So, what are you two conspiring about? Just the usual, Sarah replied, her smile bright. Nothing to worry about. Good to know, Alex said, his eyes locking onto Lila's. I'd hate to think you two were plotting my demise. Lila laughed, appreciating the lightness he brought. We wouldn't do that, I promise. Good, he said, a smirk playing on his lips. Because I'd like to stick around for a while. As they continued to talk, Lila felt a wave of comfort wrap around her. Alex was easy to converse with, and their banter flowed effortlessly. He shared stories of his travels, of breathtaking landscapes and vibrant cultures, and she hung on every word, captivated. "I love the idea of getting lost in a new place," she said, her eyes shining. "But I haven't traveled in so long." "Then let's change that," he said, his gaze unwavering. "Life is too short to stay in one place." Just then, the mood shifted slightly, the laughter of the new guests behind them becoming louder. Lila glanced back, her heart sinking slightly. The group seemed young, carefree, and full of life, everything she had given up. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that mood down," she said, shaking her head. Alex's expression softened as he reached over, his hand brushing against hers. "Hey, look at me. You're here now, and that's what matters. Don't let anyone else's happiness dim your light. You deserve to shine." His words resonated deeply, and for a moment she forgot the worries that usually clouded her mind. "Thank you," she murmured, feeling a warmth spread through her. "Anytime," he replied, that same genuine smile lighting up his features. Their eyes lingered for a moment too long, the air thick with unspoken tension. Lila felt a rush of longing mixed with uncertainty. She wanted to be swept away, but the voice in her head whispered caution. Just then, Mia's face flashed in her mind, the image of her daughter laughing and playing. Lila's heart clenched. "I should check in on Mia," she said abruptly, pulling her hand away as if burned. "She might be wondering where I am." "Of course," Alex said, his expression momentarily shifting into one of concern. "Family comes first." Lila glanced at Sarah, who was now deep in conversation with one of the newcomers. "I just don't want her to feel abandoned," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You're not abandoning her," Alex said gently, his eyes searching hers. "You deserve this time, this connection." Lila felt that familiar ache, torn between the desire for freedom and the responsibilities of motherhood. "It's hard to let go," she admitted, her voice breaking slightly. "Then, don't let go," he said, resolute. "Just take it one step at a time. Tonight is just a small moment for you. You can still be a great mom and enjoy the night." His words resonated, and Lila nodded, feeling lighter yet still uncertain. Maybe tonight could be a step forward, a moment to rediscover who she was. "Okay," she whispered, determination creeping back in. "Let's make this night memorable." As they raised their glasses in a toast, the barriers slowly began to fall, a new chapter unfolding between them, full of possibilities and connections waiting to be explored. In that moment, Lila realized she wanted to embrace that spark, to let it lead her wherever it might take her, one moment at a time. Hash Part 3. The Turning Point. As the evening deepened, the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses blended with the fading jazz notes, creating a symphony of joy that wrapped around Lila and Alex like a warm embrace. She took a sip of her wine, the crispness invigorating her senses. "So, what do you do, Alex?" Lila asked, her curiosity piqued. The weight of their conversation shifted slightly, the tension still humming in the air. "I'm in real estate," he replied, leaning back slightly, a casual confidence radiating from him. "But I also have a passion for architecture. I love restoring old buildings, giving them new life." "Wow, that sounds fascinating. You must have some incredible stories," Lila said, genuinely impressed. "I do. Each building has its own tale," he said, his eyes lighting up. "Like an old theater I worked on last year. It had been abandoned for decades. We restored it to its former glory, and now it's a community hub." "That's a beautiful way to connect with the past," Lila said, feeling a pull of admiration. "I love how art can breathe life into forgotten spaces. It's like giving them a second chance." "Exactly," he smiled, the warmth in his gaze making her heart skip. "Just like you, Lila. You deserve a second chance to shine." Her breath caught at the unexpected compliment. The way he looked at her, as if he could see the vibrant spirit she once had, made her cheeks flush. "You really think so?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know so," he replied earnestly, his gaze unwavering. "You have an artist's soul. It's just waiting to be unleashed. You shouldn't be afraid of it." There was a charged silence between them, both feeling the intensity of the moment. Lila's heart raced, uncertainty swirling in her chest. "I want to believe that," she murmured, the weight of her responsibilities tugging at her. "Then believe it. Tonight isn't just about the past. It's about finding joy in the present," he said softly, his tone coaxing her to step closer to that truth. Just then, Sarah returned, her laughter ringing out like bells. "What did I miss? You two look deep in conversation." "Just sharing stories," Lila said quickly, her heart still pounding from the intensity of Alex's gaze. "Good, but leave some time for flirting too," Sarah teased, her eyes sparkling. "That's the best part of a night out. Flirting. Us?" Lila joked, her cheeks burning. "Not at all." "Sure," Alex said, a playful smirk on his lips. "I'm just here as your bag carrier." "Right, because that's a crucial job," Sarah quipped, nudging Lila. "But seriously, Lila, you've been smiling like I haven't seen in years. Keep it going." Lila felt a rush of conflicting emotions. "It's just nice to be out," she said, her voice faltering slightly. "Nice to be out? Or nice to be with Alex?" Sarah winked, her teasing tone light but pointed. "Both?" Lila replied, unsure of how to express the strange but exhilarating feelings stirring within her. "Both sounds perfect," Alex said, his gaze softening again as he looked at Lila. "But what if tonight could lead to more than just a single evening?" Caught off guard, Lila's heart raced. What did he mean by more? Before she could answer, a waiter approached with an appetizer. The sudden interruption made Lila exhale a breath she didn't realize she was holding. "Perfect timing," Sarah exclaimed, eagerly reaching for a plate. "Let's dig in." As they shared small bites, Lila found herself stealing glances at Alex, who was in the midst of a conversation with Sarah, laughter bubbling between them. The easy camaraderie mixed with her unease, emotions colliding. "Are you okay?" he asked, leaning in, his voice low, concern evident in his eyes. "Yeah, Lila hesitated, her inner turmoil surfacing. "I'm just not used to all this. Being out, laughing, connecting." "Lila, you don't have to hide," Alex urged, his voice encouraging. "You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to enjoy tonight." She met his gaze, a mixture of longing and fear swirling within her. "It's just hard to let go of the past. There are always reminders, you know." "I get that," he replied gently, his thumb brushing against the back of her hand, igniting a spark. "But you need to remember that the past shaped you, but it doesn't define you." With every word, he peeled away the layers of her insecurities. "What if I'm not the person I used to be?" she whispered, the vulnerability in her voice raw. "Maybe who you are now is even more beautiful," he countered softly, his eyes warm with sincerity. Tears prickled the corners of her eyes as she felt the weight of his words. "You're really good at this," she said, a smile breaking through the emotional fog. "Just good at listening," he said, sincerity wrapped in charm. "And hoping to help you find your way back to that spark. That spark. It feels so distant," she murmured, vulnerability spilling over her carefully constructed defenses. "Maybe it's just waiting for you to reach out and grasp it," he suggested, his voice a soothing balm to her worries. Before she could respond, laughter erupted from Sarah, drawing their attention. "I swear, the stories you two are sharing should be written into a book. Maybe a rom-com. More like a tragic comedy," Lila retorted playfully, trying to diffuse the weight of the moment. "Lila," Alex interjected gently, "don't downplay this. You're more than that." The sincerity in his tone made her heart flutter again. "You really believe that?" she asked, her voice softening. "Absolutely," he replied, sincerity etched in his features. "You're capable of so much more than you realize." As they held each other's gaze, the sounds of the bar faded into a distant hum, the world around them blurring. Lila felt an undeniable pull toward him, an urge to explore the connection growing between them. Okay, she said finally, her voice steadying. Let's explore this connection. Are you sure? He asked, his expression serious yet hopeful. Yes, Lila replied, her heart racing with excitement and fear. But I'm also scared. Good. That means you're alive. He smiled, warmth flooding his eyes. Let's take it one step at a time. As the night unfolded, they shared stories, laughter, and moments that felt charged with possibility. With each passing hour, Lila felt a piece of herself reawakening, piecing together the fragments of her identity that had felt lost. But as they continued, a flicker of doubt crept in. What if this was just a fleeting moment? What if she was simply yearning for something that wasn't real? Hey, Alex said, breaking into her thoughts. You okay? Just thinking, she replied, her smile faltering briefly. About everything. I mean, what happens when the night ends? He paused, tilting his head slightly. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Tonight is ours to enjoy. Lila felt a spark of hope, an ember that had long been buried beneath layers of routine and responsibility. Maybe tonight was the night she could reclaim a part of herself. Okay, she agreed, a newfound determination igniting within her. Let's dance, he suggested, standing up and offering his hand. Lila hesitated. The idea of dancing felt both thrilling and terrifying. But the way he looked at her ignited a spark of courage. All right, she said, taking his hand. As they moved to the small dance area, Lila felt a rush of adrenaline. The music shifted, a slow melody enveloping them, and as Alex pulled her close, the world around them faded away. The warmth of his body against hers, the gentle sway of their movements, she felt alive, caught in a moment that felt both surreal and intoxicating. You're a great dancer, he murmured, his breath warm against her ear. Thanks, but I'm just trying to keep up, she replied, her cheeks flushing. You're not just keeping up, you're leading, he said, his gaze piercing through her doubts. Their bodies moved in sync, a dance that felt more like a conversation, each step drawing them closer, creating a rhythm that echoed the beating of their hearts. As they swayed, Lila leaned into him, feeling the tension dissolve as laughter bubbled between them. I never imagined tonight would be like this, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Neither did I, he confessed, his gaze locking onto hers. But I'm glad it is. Me too, she said, her heart racing, hope mingling with uncertainty. With each passing moment, Lila felt the warmth of Alex's body radiate against her, every tiny movement amplifying the electric connection that pulsed between them. The world around them faded, leaving just the two of them floating in their own universe. As the music played softly, she became acutely aware of the way his hand rested on the small of her back, drawing her closer, anchoring her to this moment. I can't believe I ever thought I wouldn't enjoy going out again, she murmured, her voice barely rising above the melody. Why is that? Alex asked, his gaze steady, searching her eyes as if he could read her thoughts. I don't know, Lila replied, letting out a breath she didn't know she was holding. I guess I thought I'd lost the ability to just be. It feels like I've been treading water for so long. Sometimes we just need a little push to rediscover ourselves, he said, his thumb brushing against her waist, sending shivers down her spine. Tonight has been a reminder for me too. Really? She asked, intrigued. You don't seem like the type who needs reminding. Looks can be deceiving, he replied with a wry smile. I've spent too much time focused on work, missing out on the simple joys. Lila considered this, a flicker of understanding igniting between them, both feeling the weight of responsibilities that often eclipse the joy of living. She found herself leaning into him, drawn by the magnetic pull of his presence. Oh, so tell me, she said, her voice playful. What do you do when you're not carrying heavy bags or rescuing beautiful women? Alex chuckled, delighting in her teasing. Well, when I'm not doing that, I enjoy traveling, I have this insatiable desire to explore places and cultures. Sounds amazing. It must be nice to break away from the routine, Lila said, her voice tinged with longing. I haven't traveled in years. I miss it. Then we need to change that, Alex said, his tone teasing yet earnest. I could be your tour guide. I know all the best spots. Is that a promise? She challenged, arching an eyebrow, excitement bubbling within her. Absolutely, he replied, a confident grin spreading across his face. But you'll have to promise to keep up with me. Challenge accepted. She laughed. The sound bright and free, like she hadn't felt in ages. As they danced, their laughter mingled with the soft notes of the music, and Lila felt a warmth swell within her, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. She was no longer just Lila the mother. She was Lila the woman, revived and eager to explore the possibilities laid before her. Just so you know, she said, tilting her head to meet his gaze, I'm not usually this forward. Something about tonight feels different, doesn't it? He replied softly, his voice low and sincere. Maybe it's the atmosphere. Maybe it's just us. The air around them thickened with unspoken tension, and Lila felt her heart race. She didn't want to let the moment slip away, not now. Not when everything felt so right. Yeah, it does, she said, her voice barely a whisper. As their bodies swayed in rhythm, Lila caught a glimpse of her reflection in a nearby window. She looked different, alive, vibrant, and full of hope. But alongside that realization came a wave of doubt. Was this connection real, or merely an escape from the complexities of her life? She pulled back slightly, breaking the spell. Alex, can I ask you something? Of course, he replied, concern flickering in his eyes. Why are you being so nice to me? I mean, I'm just a single mom out for a night, Lila said, her voice tinged with vulnerability. What's in it for you? I'm being nice because I want to be, he answered earnestly, his gaze steady. You're more than just a single mom, Lila. You have this light about you, and I want to see it shine. I don't want to be a passing interest, she confessed, her heart racing. You're charming, and I'm scared I'll just be another notch on your belt. Alex's eyes softened, and he brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. You're not just another anything to me, Lila. You're unique, and I'm genuinely interested in getting to know you. No strings attached. His words soothed her insecurities, and for the first time that evening, she allowed herself to fully embrace the moment. Okay, she said, her voice steady. Let's enjoy this night then. The tension melted into excitement as the music shifted to something more upbeat. Alex spun her out and back into his arms, laughter spilling from her lips. You're quite the dancer, she teased, a spark of joy igniting between them. I'd try my best, he replied with a wink before leading her in a playful twirl. But I think it's easy with a partner like you. As the night wore on, they laughed, drank, and shared stories that spilled forth, filling the gaps that had felt so empty in her life. Lila found herself leaning into him more, feeling a sense of freedom she hadn't known she craved. But a nagging voice in the back of her mind urged caution. She had Mia to think about. What would she say if her daughter found out she'd been out with a stranger? Lila quickly silenced the thoughts. Tonight wasn't about the what-ifs. All right, let's take a break, Alex said, leading her over to a quieter corner of the bar. They sank into a plush couch, catching their breath, the laughter fading into a comfortable silence. Lila caught sight of Alex's deep blue eyes, sparkling even in the dim light, and felt herself getting lost in them. Why don't we get to know each other better? He suggested, his voice low and intimate. What's something you've always wanted to do but never had the chance? Lila took a deep breath, her heart racing at the vulnerability of the question. I've always wanted to try painting again. I used to love it, but life got in the way. Then let's do that, he said, his tone encouraging. We could find a studio and go together. It would be fun. Really? She asked, her heart fluttering. Absolutely. I think you'd be amazing, he replied sincerely. It's about letting go, losing yourself in the colors. Lila felt a rush of warmth spreading through her. You really think I could do that? Without a doubt. His gaze was so intense. She felt like he could see into her soul. I want to believe that, she said softly. But I also have this lingering fear of failing. Failure's just a part of the journey, he said, his voice warm. You can't let it hold you back. At that moment, Lila realized that her fears didn't stand a chance against the warmth and encouragement radiating from Alex. She wanted to leap, to trust in this connection that felt so genuine. Okay, she said, her voice firm. Let's do it. Their hands brushed again, this time lingering, the heat between them igniting a spark of something deeper. The laughter and chatter around them faded, and the weight of the moment pressed down, thick with unspoken words. I can't believe how easy this has been, she said, her heart racing. It feels like we've known each other for ages. Maybe we have in some way, he replied, his gaze unwavering. Sometimes, souls connect in ways that transcend time. The intensity in his words sent a shiver down her spine, the air between them crackling with potential. Lila leaned closer, their faces inches apart. You're quite the philosopher, she teased, trying to lighten the mood, though her heart hammered in her chest. And you're quite the muse, he countered, his voice low. Before she could process her thoughts, he leaned in, just enough to close the distance, and their lips brushed together softly, tentative yet electric. Lila's heart raced, exhilaration flooding her as she kissed him back, the world around them disappearing entirely. It felt like the most natural thing in the world, a connection that transcended the realities of their lives. The kiss deepened, and she felt alive, a rush of vulnerability and strength coursing through her veins. When they finally pulled away, both breathless, Lila searched his eyes, feeling a mix of exhilaration and fear. Wow, she whispered. That was unexpected. Unexpected but beautiful, he replied, his voice low and filled with warmth. I didn't know I could feel this way again, she admitted, her heart fluttering. It's terrifying. Good, he said softly, his expression sincere. It means you're opening yourself up again. Just remember, it's okay to let go and enjoy the moment. Lila felt a flicker of hope ignite